Welcome to Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. I'm Gerry. Today I'm joined by Terry and Jordan. Terry, it's good to talk to you, man.
Good to talk to you too. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a little bit. And Jordan, it's been even longer.
Yeah, about 3 months, I think. I think the last time I spoke was the transfer window. So.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, then you got a lot to say. You guys have some ground to make up. Just saying. So, match preview. Our opponents this weekend are Brighton. We're playing Brian. Release Brian. No, it's our match is up. We're up against Brighton this weekend, managed by Graham Potter. It's actually a pretty interesting managerial story. Graham Potter, so you should look him up. It's pretty interesting. Current form is 16th in the table. That may sound a little familiar because they're our neighbors. We are 15th in the table right now. They are 16th at 2, 3, and 4. Their three most recent games where honestly it's a little schizophrenic in the way they're handling things. It's bipolar a bit. It's 2-1 loss to Villa, 3-0 win over Spurs, and 2-0 loss to Chelsea. They're all over the place. It seems like they're pretty inconsistent, and we smell what you're cooking. Because we're a lot like that too. There's going to be no Aaron Moy this weekend. He's out. I think he had a couple of yellows in the last match, so he's not going to be playing. So I'll rattle off the possible lineup: Matt Ryan, Montoya at right back, Webster, Dunk at center backs, Byrne on the left, Gross, Pascal Gross, Davy Proper, Stevens, Alzate, and then up front Connolly and Neil Maupay. So. Let's start with Jordan because he's been away the longest. Sorry, Terry. Yours has only been just a short. He's been 3 months, you know. So Jordan, what do you think we need to be worried about in terms of this Brighton team? What do we need to be on the lookout for?
That's a hard one, isn't it? Because, like you said, they are so inconsistent. I'm sure they heard on the radio that they'd only scored 2 goals before they demolished Tottenham 3-0. So it's just, they're one of them teams, Brighton, they're like Bournemouth, and they win one week, they lose the next, they draw the next. It's a really hard one. Didn't do too well down there last year. I don't know. I think Dunk is a good centre half, but we should be beating these. After last week's performance, that is something to build on, and you wouldn't really think these should be too hard to get past, even though our away form isn't great. On paper, we're a far better team, aren't we? Absolutely destroyed them at Goodison last year. So I don't know. I think they'll sit back. I think it's going to be up to us. Even though they're at home, I think they'll sit back. I think it's going to have to be up to us to break them down. And if we go with the front four again, we'll probably have a chance of doing that because there's quite a bit of pace in there, bit of directness. I think I will be playing Davis and Gomez, take us a bit further up the field, basically keep the same team. But I think we can get through, and I think they'll sit back. It's just maybe a patient game that we'll have to play against them.
So Jordan, you talked about them probably sitting back against us. Terry, this has been something we haven't dealt with very well. Teams that these teams that we play that sit back and kind of play on the counter will kind of dominate, and then they kind of catch us on the counter. It's been tough for us breaking down these teams that get compact. However, we're not looking at this. We're probably not looking at the same setup lineup wise, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Brighton so far have actually played that sort of compact setback team. They've been pretty, open and going forward since Graham Potter came in. Not to the to the nth degree where they're attacking everyone, gung ho, but they're a little bit more open than they have been. Given the performance, not just the result, the performance against West Ham, I think this is. It's dangerous to say things like this, but it should be the ideal game to sort of turn your away form around on, like a team that's not like, rugged and, defensive. Like, Burnley was the worst possible game we could have had after the City game. Whereas this game, I think we will get a little bit more space to play in. The players, if we go with the same 11 or most of the same 11, the players who played will find themselves having similar type of joy that they had against West Ham. I mean, for example, I'm hoping, I've got, I fancy Moise Keane to open his account. Whether he starts, whether he comes off the bench, I just think, we saw in the home game against Brighton last season what Richarlison did to their centre backs. The pace and the movement really, they couldn't really live with it. And I'm hoping Keane gets that similar shine. But on paper we've got to be looking at this hoping to come away with a win. But we've not been good on the South Coast in the last few years. I saw a stat on Twitter saying that the last time we won on the South Coast was an away match against Southampton, and Ronald Koeman was the Southampton manager. Martinez was our manager. We had that green and orange, that sort of khaki kit on. But yeah, that was like 5 managers ago or whatever it was. That was our last win away on the South Coast. We haven't won since then, and it was 8 years ago. So we need.
I was actually thinking about that today when our last South Coast win was, and that game popped into my head.
Yeah, that was it. We've got to not only build on last week's result, we've also got to start turning the away form around, the away form and the stuff, everything. A win at the weekend would just send the right message in a direction. You've got to look at Brighton, and no games are easy, but you've got to say that's a winnable game. That's a game. If we play our game and play to the level that we did against West Ham, then we should be coming away with a win.
So, Terry, you mentioned that Brighton probably won't be sitting back as much because of what the style that Graham Potter's been kind of infusing into their play. Question, though. If you saw the way Everton play against teams that kind of, sit back a little bit more, if you saw Everton's lack of success against that, personally, that's one of the things that I would point to immediately. Like, if I was a manager, I'd say, okay, well, you see how they can't break anyone down? Let's try to make sure they don't break us down. So is it one of those things, do you think he'll kind of maintain what he's wanting to do with his team, like philosophically, or is he like, nah, I want to adjust some things and possibly win the game? You know what I mean?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, he'd be smart to do that, but a lot of managers are quite stubborn like that. They're not very pragmatic.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
pragmatic managers are a little bit of a dying art. Everyone's sort of the dying breed. Rather, everyone's sort of like committed to their style and their philosophy, and they sort of hang their hat on it. So I hope he doesn't do that and go to the low block, because it's not an excuse. Because even if they do, we should be finding ways to get around that, because you can't just never win if a team plays defensive against you. But I would hope that because I haven't seen him do it yet. I can't say I've watched every Brighton game, but whenever I watch Brighton, they haven't played like that. So ideally, I hope especially with them being the home team, they come and try and play their own game, which gives us more space to work with, especially with the likes of Iwobi in the 10 position, and and now Bernard back in the team. That it could be a really good thing for us if they do play that way, the same way West Ham played, gave us space to operate in, and we used it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you, Jordan. Seemingly with our lineup that we brought in our previous match, that group of players, I think, is not going to just move the ball up the wings and cross in. We're actually going to be able to get some penetration near the center, specifically with Iwobi, like Terry mentioned. Do you see any issues for us if we're running a similar lineup as last time?
Well, when I said I think Brighton might sit back, it was more of the fact that we might force them to, because if we start with that team again, basically, because there's just going to be too much going for. Davis and Gomez both complement each other, in my opinion. They both get back, but they both go forward. And you looked on Saturday, every time Davis got the ball, he was directly forward. So I just think that this is going to make them pin back, basically. But again, it could hit us on the break, couldn't he? So yeah, it could be a bit of a. We've just got to watch it at the back, I think, and I've heard Mina's out, so maybe we do need that extra bit of security in midfield. Maybe say to Davis, drop back a bit, because he's played defensive mid for the under 21s, I think, the other week, and had a great game. But like I said before, we should just be winning this, to be honest.
Go ahead.
That is the problem, though, just trying to break them down, isn't it? But like you said, I don't think we will go to the wings, which is usually, if we go through the middle with Iwobi, Davis and Gomez, that could be the key to breaking these teams down.
Who do you think will be starting? Who's your lineup for us?
I'm just hoping Silva learns his lesson and keeps the same team. Obviously, it's probably going to be Mina for Holgate. Apart from that, I hope he keeps the same team, and that's what I'd do, personally.
All right. Terry, who's your lineup? The exact same?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm not as down on Mina being out as other people seem to be. He said in the press conference that it's not a big injury. It's only a small injury, but he's problem is he's not trained with the team yet. So I think he still a day and a half to go before that. I think he might make it, but they'll keep an eye on it. Possibly bring Holgate in. I think if he's in any condition to play, he will play. Considering how good he was against West Ham. But yeah, you can't change that. Even the players that you'd be minded to change, like Walcott and what have you, they played really well against West Ham. It sends a terrible message if they all play like that and one of them gets dropped. So I'd go exactly the same team.
So Terry, you mentioned you're not as down on Yerry Mina not playing. Why have you never liked Yerry Mina? People listening are like, what? Terry he's done nothing but talk great about how he loves you. Yeah, that's the joke. Yeah.
He'll be a miss if he doesn't make it, but I thought he'd be out until he had Silva's press conference, and he was a bit like, yes, maybe, I don't know. He didn't make me think that he wasn't going to make it, just that he's a small doubt because he hasn't trained with the team, but well, I hope he has. I hope he is playing because he's the most important centre back of the three we have.
Last week was like one of the first times I've seen him like on our corners, being utilized exactly the way we should be utilizing him, which is putting it directly to him every single time. You know what I mean? You got a guy who's like 6'3", 6'4", and can jump out of the stadium. He's ridiculous. He can jump like this much higher than everyone else. Just lay it up there and let him go get it. I have no idea why we haven't done that more this season. Love Luka Dean, but for some reason Luka Dean's actually had trouble kind of getting the ball past the first man, which, I had flashbacks to our old corners when, I remember when Leighton Baines was taking him for a stretch there, and again, first man issue, always getting, it was always really low, like we were trying to find someone to flick it on the near post. But yeah, I was thinking after watching that, I was like, he's going to start getting some headers now. He's going to start scoring some goals now. And, of course, he's hurt. That sucks.
Should have had a goal.
Don't get me started. Because that sucked. Shit. Oh, it's awful. I have one question about whether or not I have part of me that wonders whether Silva will bring in Delph because he's healthy, and I know he likes Delph instead of Davies. I think Davies did amazing work. I think if it were me, I would start Davies. I just wonder how Marco's going to do it. You know what I mean? Because he's preferred Delph over Davies earlier this season, and it's not like Delph has played poorly when he's been in. But again, that's my only question, is whether or not we may see one change. Only because, besides Holgate coming in for Mina, probably. Again, I don't want it to happen. I wonder if he's going to do that, though.
Yeah, it's a good point, really. I think he probably does trust Delph a little bit more, just because of the experience he's got.
Too.
But like Terry said, it doesn't send a very good message, does it, if he's dropping Davis? And what I heard of Silva this week talking about Davis, I don't think he will drop him.
He's loved him
to
for
be
a
honest,
while, right?
Because he said, But he said this week he was brilliant in the game. He gave everything. I was really impressed with him and stuff. So I can't see him dropping him after saying all that. But I also wouldn't be surprised if you get me.
Right on.
Playing it safe.
So what's the score going to be, Terry?
I'm going to go with another 2-0 to Everton. It's going to turn around.
Terry's just so optimistic always, right?
Usually, I didn't. Last prediction was wrong, and that was one of the very few negative ones we've ever done. I predicted we'd lose to West Ham, and nothing of the sort
I think
happened.
most people would have if you'd gone with trends. You know what I mean? So yeah, Jordan, what do you think is gonna go? What do you think is gonna go down?
I'm gonna say we're gonna win. I'm gonna say, hopefully we pick our season up now, and I'm gonna go with 2-1. I think Brighton might score, but I think we'll get the extra one up and go 2-1.
And I am actually going to be the negative Nigel of the bunch and predict a 1-1 draw. Because they haven't proved it to me away. Everton hasn't. You know what I mean? I want them to, prove it. I'd love it. Cool. All right. Well, I reckon that's it for our match preview. Anything else on this, guys?
No.
All right.
No.
Well, that's it for the match preview. If you've been digging the videos, please subscribe to the Toffee Blues YouTube channel. We'd really appreciate it. If you want more Jordan, check him out on Twitter, Jordinho. I think it's what it is. check him out on Twitter.
JORDINHOAE.
Yes, Jordinho. But it'll be at the bottom of the screen. It'll be like written. So, but yeah, go check him out on Twitter. You can see he's also got a film blog on Instagram. You should check that out as well. He knows lots of stuff. So, anything else I need to pump out there for you, Jordan?
No.
All right, and if you want more Terry, go to any Marvel movie and declare it not cinema, and he will find you and hug you into submission. I didn't plan that one. Sorry, Terry. But he will give you hugs. Just saying. But also check out his Twitter. He'll tell you when he's going to be on the Liverpool Echo fan jury and all that stuff. And I'm just going to be over here in America. So unless you're an American, you're safe not running into me. All right, everybody. We're going to move on. Talk to you in a little bit. Bye.
Okay.
Not too personal, though. So, it exploded again.
No.
I'm not even kidding. New candle. I didn't use it earlier because I was worried it would explode, and it exploded again.
Honestly.
I'm not busting my headphones this time. It's not happening. There we go. Yeah. I knew I should have gotten a new one. See, this is the universe telling me. Marcel, I'm sorry. I'll get you new candles. All right, that's how we're starting. That's our intro. There's a great intro.
Napalm.
Exploding candle.
Yeah.